welcome to example 1. The cost to produce X number of t-shirts is modeled by the equation C equals X minus 45 all squared plus 135, where X represents the number of t-shirts and C represents the total cost to produce those t-shirts. What is the minimum cost of production? And determine the number of t-shirts produced to achieve that minimum cost. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this equation, and it's C equals X minus 45 all squared plus 135. And I'll notice that this is a quadratic because of this binomial squared, and I know it's a quadratic in vertex form. So I'm going to write out the general form for vertex form here, which is y equals x minus h all squared plus k. And I remember that the vertex form, you can extract the vertex out very easily. The vertex is h and k. This is the general format for it. And I know that the h value here is going to be positive 45. Remember to switch that sign because the x-intercept here, if this was just c equals x minus 45 all squared, it would be shifting to the right 45. And this is plus 135, which is our k value. And I know that this is has an a value that's positive 1 here. There's no number here. There's going to be a positive 1 here. Maybe we should write this in a different color. Plus 1. That's something you have to realize. And if a is positive, we know that this parabola is opening up. Okay, so we're going to graph this now, since we already know all those values. So let's get that y-axis and x-axis, except they're not actually called the y-axis. This, instead of y, we have a c, which is cost to produce the t-shirts. And instead of x here, oh, we still have an x. This is x. And x is the number of t-shirts. And what we know is that the vertex is at 45, 135. So I'm going to write this somewhere here. 45, this will be 135. And there's the vertex. And I know the a value is positive, which means this parabola opens up. So I'm going to draw a parabola that should be a different color. Oh, let's try that again. And so, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be a little bit more accurate with the situation here. Can I have number of negative t-shirts? Can I have negative t-shirts? I can't. It doesn't actually make full sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to redraw this so that it does make sense. In math, if there was no context, if it was just x and y, I would draw both arms of the parabola. But because we have context and there's no such thing as negative t-shirts, there should be nothing to the left of this y-axis or the cost axis. Oopsies. So I'm going to redraw it and draw it from here. And so there cannot be an arrow on that side now because it doesn't make sense to have one. Okay? Now, there's this point here which is actually quite important. It is something called the startup cost. If I produce no t-shirts, it still costs money to create those number of t-shirts. I don't know what number this is. Let's call this, I don't know. It's going to be something above 135. It still costs a lot of money to create no t-shirts because you still need to buy the cotton, you still need to buy the sewing machines, you still need to buy a lot of capital. You need to raise something called a lot of capital in order to open up a business. So this is the cost of starting a business. Okay, and so the cost of producing 1 t-shirt, 2 t-shirts, blah, 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 all the way up to 45 t-shirts actually reduces the total cost because of some reason. I don't know, you're buying things in bulk or whatnot. And then as you are making more t-shirts, you're now spending more money because you have to start paying people overtime. And so the cost to produce these many t-shirts is getting more and more expensive. So, let's answer this question. What is the minimum cost of production? The minimum cost is going to be 135. So therefore, minimum cost is $135. And part B, inside part B, there's a second part. It says determine the number of t-shirts required or produced to achieve this minimum cost. So the number of t-shirts produced that correspond to that minimum cost is 45 t-shirts. The minimum cost is $135 and occurs producing 45 t-shirts. Okay, and that ends this question example 1.